Brownstown is a township with a very strange shape that is broken up into 3 different sections, and they barely touch each other. Now, it didn't always look this way. It has evolved over the years. So Brownstown was first organized in 1827 and was a rather large city. 15 years later, a small piece on the east side was taken by the city of Monguagon. This later turns into Riverview and Trenton. And just to clarify, Monguagon no longer exists. I had never even heard of this city until I was doing research for this video. So if you've heard of Monguagon before, let us know down in the comments below where you heard of it. And the city of Gibraltar also formed on the east side of the city from Brownstown, just below Trenton. And shortly after that, Rockwood formed on the southwest corner of Gibraltar, separating Brownstown into 2 pieces. And lastly, in 1965, Woodhaven and Flat Rock formed right in the middle of this once large city, further separating the northern part of Brownstown from the 2 southern parts of Brownstown. That's right, the northern half isn't even touching the southern parts at all. You actually have to go through a completely different city just to get to the southern part. Now, I would highly recommend reading and viewing the pictures in this article about the evolution of Brownstown because it is super interesting. But I want to continue talking about Brownstown and its people, the housing market, food, and much more. Another fun fact that makes Brownstown so unique, Another fun fact that makes Brownstown so unique is that it doesn't have its own zip code. It uses 5 different zip codes from surrounding cities like Romulus, Trenton, and Flat Rock. And actually, when I looked up Brownstown on neighborhoodscout.com, that's the site that I use for all of my neighborhood statistics, it comes up as Romulus, so it was difficult to find its own stats. However, Brownstown is not as barren as Romulus when it comes to conveniences like restaurants and shopping, but it still doesn't have a whole lot. I mean, Baldos has been around for a long time, and it's kind of like this old-fashioned Italian-style restaurant that hasn't been updated in a really long time. But the food is good, and they are great for big events and or gatherings, and I think it's just more of a nostalgic thing for people that grew up in this area. Another big restaurant in Brownstown is the Big Bear Lodge. They have a big menu, delicious food, and good service, and the decor kind of gives you this unique cabin feel, so it's really cool. You should give it a try if you haven't before. Now, for shopping, you don't have a lot of options within the city itself, but there is a lot of shopping options in the cities nearby, and because of the strange shape that we just discussed, you probably won't even notice when you've left the city. The only store that I know that is worth mentioning in Brownstown is a unique store called Rags to Riches. This is a second-hand evening dresses store, so this is great for prom, homecomings, or even weddings. The housing market here in Brownstown is not like the other cities we have discussed so far. The southern part of Downriver is much more rural, and you typically get more land, bigger houses, and they typically sell for higher prices. So we are going to discuss the median for May of 2022 because we want to make sure that we're being consistent and compare it directly with the other numbers from the other cities which were pulled in May. So for Brownstown, the median price was $317,000. Now the median for all of Downriver was only $203,000 in May, and the market has gone up and it hit its peak in July. Again, it may trickle back down a little bit in December, but we've talked about that in other videos and we'll talk about that more coming up. So Brownstown Charter Township, or Brownstown, or more commonly known as Brownstown, is a little farther south from Detroit than most of Downriver. Actually, the southern portion of Brownstown is the most southern part of all of Downriver, but it is much more rural. I hate that word, rural. So if you're looking for a country-ish place to live that's near conveniences and you have the money, Brownstown is a nice place to live. If there are any specific questions you have about this city or any of the others, feel free to message me. We have already discussed Southgate, Allen Park, Wyandotte, and Romulus, not in that order, which you can watch here. And we will be talking about the other cities in coming videos. So if you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share it with someone you know that could use the information. Stay happy, stay healthy, and trust your realtor.